Hi guys,
How's it going, everyone?
it's Lisette and Jose.
This Jose Trujillo and Lisette Lisette Trujillo. I'm the world's greatest living artist, coming to you from the art studio here, and we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how we work together as a partnership, right? Come on a little bit. How we worked as a partnership. We've been doing little short videos of me painting. I introduced myself to you guys yesterday, and I just wanted to touch base on for those of you who work with someone, a spouse, those of you who work with a friend, you're sharing studio time or any of that kind of stuff. It's really important, I think, to know how to work with your partner or
even if you're not working directly working with them, learn how to communicate with them so that you can work and have a supportive family.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah. And one of the things that we had a bit of a struggle with was asking each other questions as to what we needed from each other, right?
Yeah.
So one of them was when we are creating, when we're meeting a deadline, right? Let's say that we're meeting a deadline. Many times I have a hard time asking her, even if we have experience. I had experience, bossing people around before, and she's got managerial experience, but it's still difficult, right? Especially when it's someone that a sibling, a life partner, or a good friend or whatever.
Or just history, because you have ideas about each other.
Right.
So just like history.
Especially history, yeah.
Because you could be like coming from a different space and they might judge it and say,
right. I know what you're going to say.
I know what you're
I know what you meant, And sometimes we need to meet deadlines and stuff like that. And for example, she helps me a lot with the shipping of the artwork, shipping out work and packaging and shipping it out. And maybe she might have a hard time telling me. So we developed little, what we would call them, little tools, right? That we speak to each other and we're like, look, when it's time to do this, it's okay. You won't offend me if you say this, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've definitely developed work talk.
Work talk, right?
Yeah, like how we communicate with work.
Yeah, totally. That way we can be as professional as we need to be without having that interruption of without that interrupting our personal life, separating the personal and the professional.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. I mean, just the whole thing of working with everybody told me first of all,
don't work with your wife.
Don't work with your wife. Don't work with your wife. Don't work with someone else. Don't, because being an artist, as I mentioned before, is such a lonely experience, right? You paint by yourself and it's kind of like your own thing. But guys, here's a little thing, a little tip for you guys out there, you lonely artists. It's okay and it's good to get help. Which is, we're in an industry where we're told that you have to be by yourself. And certainly creating the artwork, yeah, you may want to do that by yourself, of course. But putting all the other parts together, such as shipping stuff. I mean, when we used to date, she used to help me send out the packages for the galleries, remember? Mm-hmm. And
I've spent hours making artist packets.
Yeah, and I when we used to date, right? Yeah. But I didn't understand the importance until recently, the importance of having a group around you that supports you, and that, of course, I mean, if you can pay them, much the better. But a group around you that supports you and helps you achieve those goals, whatever that is. Whether you're trying to get an art exhibit, you're trying to create a collection of artwork, whatever you're trying to do, there's that thing, right? That I feel not every artist, but most artists try to work on their own. And really, when we work in a partnership, we don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do when I started working with my wife. When we had some help not long ago, and I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I didn't know what to do because not because I can't boss people or I can't ask for help, but because I don't know how to ask for help if I'm used to doing everything by myself.
Right.
So it felt like they were, like people were slowing me down.
Yeah, delegating.
Delegating,
That was a
yeah.
hard thing. Yeah.
Delegating was so difficult because I was used to doing everything myself, from painting, packaging, and shipping, and all of that. And then all of a sudden, someone comes in, and it may feel like, oh, I move out of the way, I can do it myself, or I can do it faster, or those type of things. Those are you're negating the bigger picture. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Is that a good
Yeah.
translation?
Absolutely.
We all can benefit from help, and especially when you're working with someone who's like a life partner, right? Like my wife, someone who's there and it's ready to support you, and we want the same thing. We want to achieve this goal, right?
But there's also realities. Like, I definitely wanted to support him and always have been supportive of his art and how we do it together as a business. But then you talk about like trying to find ways to communicate and work through, because even though the people in your life love and support you, we're not always coming from that space. So sometimes you have to figure out how to communicate effectively so that you stay on the same page and keep working towards the same goal, which I think is what you're talking about. Like, I know that I have a hard time allowing people to come into my space and help me because I have a process for how I package the paintings. And then when other people come in, I feel like, oh, you're disrupting me, even though I desperately need the help. Maybe I have like, I've fallen behind on packaging, and then Jose comes in and he's like, I'm going to help you. And then he has his way of working, and I'm like, you're disrupting how I do things, or you're doing it differently than how I do things. Especially because I think as artists, or I work by myself a lot of times, and so does he in his studio. So it's learning to work with someone else and not,
and accept the help.
Yeah.
Learning how to accept the help, not just the delegation, not just delegating work, but accept the help, because many times, well, first of all, before we even touch on that, first of all, you have to make a personal audit on yourself and see
strengths and weaknesses. We had a whole video about this before, about recognizing your weaknesses might be strengths in the other person.
Right.
And your strengths might be their weaknesses. Right. And actually joining forces in that, doing that self-audit and joining forces and saying, I'm really good at this and that's not your strong suit. I'm going to take over that.
Right.
Or I'm really, obviously I can't paint, so I couldn't be like, let me paint for you.
Right.
I can't even paint a tree. But you get it. Yeah. I can package a painting, though.
Right. And also following that, a personal audit, not just a partnership audit, right? Where we're like, well, where are you strong? Where are you the weaker? In what areas? But a personal one. How much am I really working? How many hours am I really putting? How much of it is downtime? How much it is Facebook time? How much it is scratching my head, for lack of a better word right now, time? How much of it is, if you really audit how much is work time, like focus, 100% work time, you realize that many times oh man, this is why things aren't working for me.
Right.
Because my focus work time, you may be busy 13, 14, 15 hours a day, but you may only be focused 1 hour a day. Yeah. Extremely focused. This has happened to me over and over. And working in a partnership, it's very easy to blame other people and be like, I'm so busy. What are you doing? But that's the problem, that you may just be busy. You may not be productive. Just be busy. And this is something hard to swallow, but I mean, I just wanted to throw in that one before we move on to, partnerships and whatnot, because many times, as a matter of fact, I've been learning 99% of the time, I wasn't working nowhere near to my potential, So that's something I like to touch on.
Yeah.
Because, that's
the running theme, I think, because that's what you and I are always working on.
Yeah.
How to better maximize
Yeah.
our time.
Yeah, because what you think that you may be busy, you may be putting in, like I mentioned, you may be putting in 8 hours in your studio time, but you may only be focused, if you really compact that, you may only be focused 1 hour.
Right.
And that's the holy grail. Outflow is the holy grail, that you realize, oh man, why things are not working. Well, this is why things are not working. And when you have a partnership, it's very easy. Again, it's very easy to be like, well, are you busy enough? Or, or I'm so busy, you're not helping, and on and on and on and on. And I think that's why I came up with that idea. Let's audit.
Yeah.
Let's audit so that I can see where you're strong and where I'm weak, and then we can lift each other up.
Yeah.
In those areas.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jolly. She's a winner. I'm a winner. It's really important to have a partner. I think, as I was mentioning, there's artists out there, many of us. It's such a solitary career,
But it's also it's a passion. It's a calling that takes up so much of your mental space that if I didn't, it can be very difficult as a spouse to have someone constantly talk to you about themselves and their internal working of their artwork. And so that has been a thing that you and I have learned to work on so that I can continue to be supportive, loving, working partner. Because we work together like 14 hours a day.
Right.
And work through
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about it and stuff,
definitely. Although the mental kings, the head junk, guys, I've talked about this extensively also on YouTube. The head junk, right?
Yeah.
The head junk is really what prevents.
Thank you. Jose and I talked about this busy, not productive. Because you wrote, busy, not productive. That's me. I need to set up my space to make my work more efficient. I'm sorry, honey.
Go ahead.
We actually talked about this because we used to have in the studio, in the packaging studio, in my packaging space, in his studio, we used to have things organized in like shelving. And then we would forget we had it. And we learned that we work by sight. And so we started buying not bookcases, but shelving systems that didn't have drawers or closures so that we could stack things out and we could see when we're running low on frames or canvas or paint or boxes to package. Because if it was out of our visual sight, we would forget about it completely and overbuy supplies.
That's right.
Or underbuy. We'd be at the last minute trying to find.
Yeah, and so it's a time waster. Out of sight, out of mind. Something's out of sight is out of mind. You're not going to think about it. If you're missing, this used to happen to me a lot. I needed to start putting the canvases at eye level and stack them. And because then I would have to go and look through boxes and then realize, oh man, I only have so many canvases. I am not going to be able to finish these paintings, or I'm not going to be able to, to make it for the show or whatever. And out of sight, out of mind.
Because I think that personal audit that you were referring to earlier in this video.
Yeah.
I think that we also talked about how we work. And that was one of the big things that we came from that was, we have to be able to see where we see how much we have of one thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You want to be honest.
Yeah, because in our home life, granted, we have things behind cupboards. Like you keep your dishes behind that, but you don't run out of dishes. You just wash them and put them away. So it was helpful to recognize how we work. Like in my packaging space, I have everything to the right of me because I'm right-handed, and so all of my supplies that I need are to the right, so that if I don't have a pen, tape, whatever, I move to the right and it doesn't feel like it's slowing me down. If they're like to my left or in front of me or whatever. So everything is to the right and I can grab it and go. And then I feel like I've created a rhythm. And I always know that whatever I need is to the right of me. Do you have stuff like that in the studio?
That's right. Yeah. Everything. I mean, first of all, I picked this stuff up also because I used to work in interior remodeling, and And when you're working with a team of guys remodeling a house, it's fast paced. For those of you who have done that, it's very fast paced, and you have to have things at hand. Yeah. So that's one of the very first things I started learning there, and I was like, how can I apply this in my studio? Everything is at hand. There's nothing that that I don't need immediately, that is not at arm's reach.
Yeah.
You know, so I put everything, the most important stuff to my right, because I'm
no idea how many times when we were initially doing that, being like, oh my God, I have 0 white or 0 yellow, and then having to run around and then the run around of going and buying supplies because you don't have them on hand when you need them.
That's the killer.
Is the biggest time waster.
That's the killer right there, because now you went to the art store. You're spending for those of you who go to the art store, I like to shop online. I do a lot of art store shopping, but the reason why I do art store shopping, it's because of that, because of the time killers. If you shop online, you get stuff for 30% cheaper than you, or 40% sometimes, whatever, than you get them in the art store.
But we do, Sundays is our day where we go locally if we know that we don't have time, or the week passed us and we didn't order paint. We do all of our Mondays coming up, and we've done the art store on a Sunday. Luckily, they're open on Sundays. Right. And purchased.
But it's the biggest time killer. If you do that in the weekday,
during the week,
in the weekdays, you're like, oh man, I need oil, or I need whatever, I need brushes, and you go and it might be 10 minutes away from where you are, or 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. You're gonna stop and get coffee now. Now you're gonna stop and there's a Target. There's a Target right next to it.
So the art supply store is right by a Target. So Sunday works out perfectly, because then I can get supplies.
It'll kill your day. It'll kill your day. By the time you did that, you could have already submit some of the artwork to a gallery, or made another painting, or whatever, or organize your studio. Or if you're crazy like me, you would have already created 5 paintings. I don't know.
And you also told me something, because you had listened to a podcast or YouTube or something, where you had said that procrastination created so much worry and stress that you felt like it was so important for us to eliminate procrastination things, and the going and buying supplies tends to be like one of those procrastination things that you don't even realize that you're doing. Right. And then you fall behind and you feel stressed, like, oh, we have this deadline to get these things out or get these paintings done, and all of a sudden you have like this constant pressure. One of the things that
uncomfortable. One of the things that my wife and I do now, that we practice, and this is a muscle. This is not something that you all of a sudden you start doing and it's fine. No, it's a muscle. You got to start practicing it. Is that as soon as we think of something, boom, we do it. If I'm driving around and I'm thinking, oh man, I need to call this person, I need to call this collector, I don't wait till I get home. I don't, honey, can you dial that person and put him on speaker, because I'm driving, right? Yeah. Irresponsible. or I need to buy paint. I don't go like, oh well, I put it in my mind. If it popped up in my mind, it's because it's important. This is one of the things that I've been learning. If it pop up in my mind, do it right there, because your instinct is so much smarter than what you think. Your instinct. No? Yeah. As soon as you think of something, as soon as I think of, oh man, I need to do, and this, by the way, these are not mindless, like you're thinking about, oh man, I wish I could do this, and then I thought about it, so I'm gonna go do it. No, I'm talking about prioritizing.
Yeah, literally the thing that you're gonna have to do later.
Right.
Because I've done that before, where I'm like, oh, should I do it now or later? And so I've started forcing myself to do it now. Hi, Noah.
What's up, Matt?
Because doing it later is going to take, if not more time, or the same amount of time, or
procrastination. Procrastination is just another form.
Create the worry that I have to get it done.
Yeah, it creates worry. And then there's no confidence in that. The more you procrastinate, you procrastinate like this, it goes up, and then your confidence goes down. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. And I know this video started as what do you do when you're working with a partner? How do you learn how to see your The other person's, you audit yourself, right? But it applies everywhere. For example, if I know that she's good at something that I kind of been slacking, and I don't mean slacking in the sense of I haven't been working on it, but I haven't developed that muscle.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Haven't developed that muscle. She's really good at remembering things. I'm horrible. I have to write notes. Everything's notes for me because I'm horrible at remembering things. So I'll write notes. And if it's something immediate, she's gonna take over because she remembers things. She's like, oh, I know what that client needs. Not me. I have to go find out. I have to go find out who that client even is. I'm like, I have to go.
We've had a couple instances where he has taken care of client needs and then not left me notes, and then he can't remember what it was they agreed on, what frame or something that they agreed on. And so we've started talking about the fact that he has to leave me notes, written notes, like we said silver, not gold.
Yeah, and I recognize that, and yes, I should be more responsible.
We've had to go through old emails to try to figure out where it is
and build up muscle. I should be more responsible and build up muscle. But while I do it, I'm going to continue to create notes, and she's going to continue to help me while that gets developed. So it doesn't mean that I'm not going to work on it.
No, I know, but that's the fix, though, right? Is that recognizing me I need to leave a physical note, verbalize. This is because you're really good at being okay, I just sold a silver frame, and but you don't have any paint. Oh no, you're going to have to go get some.
Yeah, you got to go get some. We just talked about that right now.
Having to make sure we have some in the studio.
Yeah, that's the thing. This has happened to me so many times where I'm like, oh man, I don't have paint, I don't have this, or I don't have the canvas, and it was so draining for me because especially when you're on a roll. When you're on a roll and you run out of stuff, it's momentum suicide. You completely kill the momentum, and now you have to start from the bottom, like Drake. It was cool there for a second, huh?
Yeah.
Start from the bottom. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. I just wanted to, not it for today. Later, don't miss this. I'm going to be painting live. I'm going to do a live session around somewhere around 6 p.m. I haven't made a schedule for it, but it's going to be right around there. And
on Thursdays, we're going to be chit-chatting with you guys about what it's like to work together. I'm not an artist, but we work together.
Yeah, we work together. We're also expanding. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're expanding and expanding in different ways, not just physically, but we're expanding also, like I mentioned, about doing the audit. Do a personal audit, and you will see how much strength you have. Again, this is so important. Before I leave, I want to hammer that one.
Yeah.
Do a personal audit of yourself. How many hours are you working a day? And you're busy, and how many are you actually focused? And you're going to find out, most likely than not, I've worked with a lot of artists, and I was doing this myself a lot. I still do it from time to time, and I have to wake up out of it, that there's 9 hours, 8 hours of busy work and only 1 hour of focused work. And that 1 hour focused work is really what's getting your stuff done. It's really what's putting that that's how you're selling your paintings. That's how you're getting the art exhibits. You want to be able to focus more time. Yeah, something. Oh, craft paint will do it. I love painting with craft paint.
And also too, the scariest and bravest thing is being able to ask the person closest to you, what are some things that you see when I'm working that aren't helpful for me?
Totally.
I hated asking it, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't want to, the thing is, you don't want to come off rude, you don't want to hurt people's feelings and blah, 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 but we have to figure out a way, right? So that's what we started doing.
How to work together.
I need this, and let me remove myself from it so that I don't sound bossy and I don't sound this and I sound that way you understand what the need is, and I understand what your needs are, and because it's the same thing. Her needs are my needs. I mean, my needs are selling artwork, creating artwork is selling it. And she needs me to sell it, so it's the same need.
We have a kid, he's got to sell it. All right, guys, on Thursdays I'm going to be joining him. Let me know and let him know what questions you have about what it's like to work together. Yeah. If you most of these people are artists, right?
I think so. I think a lot
Well, if
of
you
people
have a
are
girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, whatever, spouse, and we've had people ask us, how do I get my special person on board, because I really want to take my artwork seriously, and we've worked through it.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not an artist, so I get it.
And if you're an artist, raise your responsibility level. The more you raise it, and this is something that I started learning until recently. I wanted to get my friends on board, my wife on board, and no one's gonna buy in unless, let's call that, right, that 80s term, buy in. No one's gonna buy in unless they see you committed. If you're committed, people will start, they sniff that. They're like, man, I want to be around that.
Yeah.
I want to be around that, because that person, it's like Forrest Gump when he started running in that movie, remember? And then people are like,
ran with him.
People are like, I want to run, and people didn't even know what he was running, but he was committed. I'll leave it at that.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know the road. You're just gonna go.
Just gonna go.
Yeah.
You almost never know the road.
I'll follow you. I'll run with you.
Nice. I'm going places.
I like it. I'll be there with you.
It was a great movie. All right, guys, take care. Like it. Happy faces.
Send us your questions.
I still don't get Instagram. I don't know if you can share this or not. I don't get it. You can't share these videos, right?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't get Instagram either.
I still don't get Instagram.
We're going to learn with the people who know.
Look, guys, we were the world's greatest living artist. Absolutely.
And the world's greatest wife.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll see you guys next Thursday.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.